All right, testing this out. Can you hear me? Any thumbs up? Anybody? Let's try to bring Joe in. Can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. I
Can you
don't
hear
know
me?
what happened. Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you now. There's some ninja troubleshooting on my
Mm.
side. I'm just saying. Not to toot my own horn. Just kidding. But cool. All right. Well, that was took a minute, but or actually 2 minutes and 53 seconds, um, but we're on. So
Nice.
how have you been?
Busy, really. I mean, yeah, there's so much going on. It's crazy. It's nice to be back, though. It's nice to get this started
Yeah,
again. Let me
how
tell
was
you.
Hawaii?
Hawaii, damn, man. It's
Expensive.
definitely something. It's something that's like, it's like a different experience. It really is, man. I mean, I've been to like New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Jose. Like, I've been to a lot of places, and like, I can't like be at peace when I'm there because I'm always kind of like alert and like cautious about, my environment. But when I went to
Yeah.
Hawaii, um, it was a different experience because everyone is just so like you get this vibe that everyone is very chill and relaxed and not like they legitimately don't mean you no harm. And I have not had any issues the 8 days that we were there, which was like,
Nice.
it was beautiful. It really was. It was peaceful. And like,
That's cool.
I don't know, it was rejuvenating at the same time. I got back home and I was like, felt like fired up to get everything going again.
That's cool. Yeah, everybody that I know of that goes to Hawaii, they end up saying that they want to move out there. So that makes
I
sense.
do,
Like,
but I don't. But I mean, they definitely have some issues there, and a lot of it was resources. Even though they're an island, like there's like we went to the Big Island, and there's like they have to catch rainwater for their dishes, showers, and everything else. And then of
oh,
course
really?
they drink spring or well water. Um, uh, so they have to get like spring and well water. And so it's kind of like they have to learn this balance of literally living off of what nature gives them. I think that's what kind of makes them humble at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried. I feel like they would have at least more of an option with that because I've tried to do to catch rainwater out here to do like our gardening and everything, and it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
I bought a rain barrel. I don't think it's ever been filled.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does rain a lot, and even with the rain, it's still sometimes, we have friends over in Hawaii, and they explain to us that sometimes, they have to buy water to fill up their tank so they could have like showers and running water.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a challenger. But electricity is expensive, and a lot of things are imported um to the island. So everything costs a little bit more expensive, except for like a couple of different items. Like there's some meats that are cheaper that you find cheaper over there than over here. A lot of it basically pork and fish.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, legit. Like, I don't think people realize how much logistics comes into play. Like with the whole like inflation thing right now.
Hmm.
When it started, everybody's like, "Oh, it's just like." Oh, I'm like, you don't realize that like the gas price is gonna drive prices up for everything
Hmm.
because the logistics are just gonna shoot up for everybody.
Yeah,
And so now here we are, like a few years into it now, and we're
yeah.
sucks.
And inflation doesn't go down. That's what sucks. I mean, it might go down a little, but it's never gonna go back to what we found as being normal or what we got
Yeah,
used to. And that's always a frightening aspect of inflation is it doesn't go back. And And so like so for example, like the beef over there, uh,
Yeah.
per pound was like $5 more than over here than what you
Wow.
would find over here.
And it's expensive over here too, even. So
Yeah,
that's
and
terrible.
so yeah, and so I didn't. I talked. I talked to a few people and kind of got the feel of what was going on. And I've watched a couple of YouTubes of people who would go to different islands of Hawaii and interview some of the locals. And I think that's why there's been such a big push over the few years of them trying to find ways to farm most of the produce that they could get on the island. They want to start farming more. They want to be a little bit more reliable on themselves.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah, they want to be
Yeah.
more self-sufficient than having to import. And one of the ridiculous things that I heard was so they have cows on the island, but they can't butcher cows. They have to ship the cows to California, then they butcher it there, and then
So
they
they don't have
import
any
it
like
back.
butchers there.
Yeah, which was crazy. And I was like,
That is weird. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah, I was kind of fascinated. I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I don't know if it's just like a Hawaiian law that you can't like have a slaughterhouse on the island, which I mean, I guess you no one really wants a slaughterhouse on the island, um but yeah, like they have to ship it to California, get a butcher or slaughtered butchered, and then they have to ship it back.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's double. It just doubles your.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I like obviously I like to I like to play video games and everything, and so me and my cousin and one of our good friends, we have like a Minecraft realm that we play
Hmm.
on every once in a while. Like we haven't played on in a while, uh, but we have like we each created like our own separate civilizations, and then um like we have like our own laws and stuff. And then it's funny because like with me and my cousin, we built right next to each other, and our cities like expanded to the point where we're like touching cities now.
Hmm.
And just for shits and giggles, I have like a law in my place where you can't eat, um, you can't butcher um, sheep and pigs. So like we have all these like crazy laws that we put into place, and it's really funny. So,
How does that
but
work?
that's what it reminds me of. Huh?
Like how did like what why did you come up with that law?
I don't know. Like some of it, because there's some like civilization or some societies that do have that as a rule. Like I think like
Mm,
in India or somewhere in Asia, I believe, where you can't like cows are considered sacred.
yeah.
So so there's things like that. Like in the game, like I just didn't want people killing the sheep because I like just shear them and they use the wool. So I was like, okay, it's
Oh,
against the
okay.
law. Um, but then on like with the pigs thing too, um, that's more of like just kind of wanted it to match with some of the other stuff that um, like different like cultural things. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It
But
was kind of just like a fun element to end. Like we have um like a Senate house and stuff, and we actually like have meetings there, like when we discuss like what we're gonna do with the realm. So a lot of it's just like aesthetic and like just to kind of go with the lore of our like place. But we put like a lot of hours into it to the point where that's like we come up with a bunch of different like laws and things like that just to make it fun. Like my friend shot me and like we did like a weapons ban. Like he
yeah.
shot me with the bow and arrow or with a crossbow, and I was like, "Oh, weapons banned in my country." So it's just fun stuff that we do.
Well, let me tell you, you guys sound a little bit more productive than the government
I
is.
mean, yeah. Speaking of that, what do you how do you feel about the um I don't know if you watched the first debate. I missed the first debate or the Trump Biden debate, but um I was curious. to get your thoughts. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I don't. Um, I don't, and I really don't tend to, only because um, I don't know. It doesn't. I feel like it doesn't benefit me in any way. Because in the end, it's like nothing ever really changes, and everything just kind of seems to get worse. So I've only kind of started to focus on myself and focus on the things that I could control. For example, like creating different sources of income, business, or creating a business, or learning new skills, to make me more valuable. Like I don't like to feel like I have no control over a lot of things, and that's
Yeah,
kind of what I felt when I was paying attention to politics, because there was a time when I was, um, that it would piss me off because like they would say something or they would agree with something and I just didn't really agree with. And deep down, I think if I were to put myself in party, which I don't like to be considered a party, I'm a little bit more libertarian, in belief wise.
I honestly respect libertarians myself. Like I'm more like I've always been like center right,
Hmm.
um, and as things have gotten a little bit crazier, it's been pushing me a little bit more right.
Yeah,
But yeah, I totally respect the libertarian point of view for sure.
yeah. I mean, and I like to live simply. Like I like to live as simple as possible, and really like what I teach my kids, it's the two things that we have to keep, or I think the two things that we have to live by is we don't hurt people and we don't take people's stuff, like involuntarily take their stuff, whether it's for force or any other means. And I think that's kind of the principles that I've always kind of instilled in my daughter. And what I want to do with my son is, we don't physically harm people. We don't steal anything from that's not ours. We don't steal anything, that we could get. Um, and that's kind of as simple as I could possibly make life without it being too complicated.
Yeah, my grandpa used to have this say like he had this like little placard thing, and it said "Live and Let Live" on it,
Hmm.
and like I don't know why, but that just always got me, and like I always that was like my biggest thing growing up, and it still is now. It's like live and let live, like just do your thing, let other people do their thing, and
Yeah. Yeah,
but
as long as you don't like if you don't involuntarily hurt someone, I mean,
yeah,
then we have an issue. But, and I'm like talking like physically, not emotionally. I mean, emotions is kind of hard to define whether you've hurt someone or not. Because, I mean, you can make someone cry and therefore you've hurt them, but like it's hard
yeah, I
to,
agree with you. It's more like a physical thing. It's more
yeah, yeah,
easier to
emotions are subjective.
break down.
So,
Yeah,
and like, I could take a lot of slack from people, like, where they're like talking crap to me or anything. But like my daughter can't, and so therefore we can't really put a number or agree that, someone was hurt or not. So that's why I always kind of say physically hurt people and not emotionally, because emotions
yeah,
is a little hard.
yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I think it's here. You want the rest of this? Routine check in from the kids. but um, but yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's aspects of it that I think it's important to pay attention to, but then there's things that, like you said, are kind of out of our control. I remember, I think it was Jim Rohn. Like um, he had a really good. I think it was like a conference or something that he was doing. He was speaking at an event, and he brought that fact up that like it's like it doesn't matter. He's like, who does it matter if like the Democrats win in a few years? And they're like, no. Does it matter if the Republicans win in a few years? Like, like what's going to change? Like not much, you know.
Hmm.
So I think it's good to understand that like regardless, you got to figure out what you want to do and how you can utilize the environment, you know, because it's not always going to be easy. For the most part, it's always going to be hard, but
Yeah,
there's always going to be barriers and issues with it. But you have to try to figure out how to focus on um, making money or doing what you want to do.
yeah,
So yeah, I agree with you 100% on
and
that. I do think there's aspects there though that like need to be. Um, I think it's important who is running a country. Like my cousin was telling me the other day, we were talking about it, and he said, it's not necessarily just the like the president, obviously, because there's
hmm,
obviously a huge there's supposed to be anyway a separation of powers, and so it's not just the president.
yeah,
Um, Although I do say because he has executive authority, like there's things that could definitely impact, like the immigration right now is terrible, and that impacts a lot of things when it comes to finances. But um, but Congress is like what my cousin was saying. Like that's where there's a huge issue. Is that there's Congress and there's these people that are lifelong politicians that are in place, and they really don't care,
hmm,
because as long as all they want is to stay in power, like they just want to keep their jobs. So I don't know. I think term limits could be a good thing to go with that because they're the ones that make the laws. You know what I mean? And so
yeah. And
I think we
bulk
can
of the laws
actually
that we
make
have
progress
come
that
from
way.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bulk of the laws that we have come from them. It's really, I mean, yeah. When you look at it through a broad scope, it's really Congress that has more power than the presidency. You know,
Yeah.
the president could issue executive orders, in but it really all goes to Congress, and what they kind of decide to do. Um, but I was told there's this one story that I listened to, and before this is have when I was listening to I wasn't heavy, but I was listening to politics a lot, and there was a story that I heard from a person that I still listen to really consistently, but his name is Jason Stapleton, and he told a story of why he kind of stopped focusing too much on politics, and this is when he was in tour over in the Middle East, and he was having the he was a right wing, or he was a Republican. He was pretty strong Republican, and there was this one soldier that was inside the so in the barracks there's usually a dining hall, and there was this one soldier that was just eating his cereal as fast as he can, and he was looking on his phone. Um, and as Jason was looking at the news, this is during I forgot what presidential debate he was listening to, but he made a remark about how the left wing is going to destroy the country, and the soldier just kept on eating. He wasn't really paying attention. And finally, Jason he got irritated and got the guy's attention. He's like, "Hey, don't you like care about this stuff? Like this is important." And he says that he remembers that soldier just he drops his spoon, lands into his bowl. He stares at him, and he says, "You know what? There's a reason why I don't care about what they say. I don't care about what they do. And the reason is because I'm a winner, and winners always find a way to win. Doesn't matter what the situation is, doesn't matter the environment. If you're going to win, you're going to find a way to win if you're the winner." And that affected me like pretty deep down, because I was like, you know what? That's that's so true.
Yeah.
Like that's when I started to really kind of focus on just myself and not the external environment of the things that I can't control. Like I could control my actions, and I could control what I could do with my time and what I could learn. And from there on, it was kind of like like awakening for me. And that's when I pretty much just dropped politics all at once and just like literally started trying to learn as much things as I humanly can, like whatever could fit in my head.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's spot on too. I mean, regardless of what's going on, you have to try to figure out a way. Um, it does worry me, honestly, with some of the things that are going on because I don't feel like we have a strong president in office right now. And I did, I felt a lot better, both like financially and also just like, uh, I guess, secure as a country when
Hmm.
Trump was in office. Um, so I do hope we can get back to that because I am like worried, more worried, I think, for my kids than me, especially
Hmm.
when we got little ones. They're still pretty young. I know our babies were born around the same time, so
Yeah, I know. Yeah, poor
so
thing. He's teething right now, so he has a little bit
oh
of a
wow,
fever.
wow, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
always tough, dude.
yeah.
It's a little
I
bit
mean,
better when they're older because like then they get excited for losing their teeth, but getting new ones.
yeah, that's my daughter right now.
Their babies are like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I do worry. I do worry about like what my kids are gonna have to live through, but at the same time, there's so much opportunity that's starting to pop up, and especially in technology. And I can't wrap my head as to like what their future is gonna be like. But what I do know is, as much as I do love the United States, I love living in it. If push comes to shove, like I want to be at that point where I could just get out of Dodge and just go wherever I can be. Um, I think that's kind of what my motivation has been to, starting a business and trying to grow, and is that I want to feel like I have a choice of where to be, like where I can be and where I could go. And I don't like to be restricted to like staying in one spot because, of circumstances of like debt or um, circumstances of this is where we have to be because we don't have any choice.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, passports aren't cheap. So,
Mm-mm. No, but it's 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 definitely going to be a future that I'm really curious about, though. As much as there is a lot of frightening aspects of it, like I told my daughter, I'm like, dude, you're lucky. Like, I think the future that you're gonna have, it's already different from when we were kids, but I think it's just gonna get even like crazier.
yeah.
Like it's like I
The
can't even
technology is
explain.
ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely gonna be pretty interesting. Um,
Like my
but
daughter, she, I bought her a VR. I don't remember if it was Christmas or her birthday. I think it was her birthday. We got her a VR, and and she's been playing on that, and it was funny because I was like, all right, cool. Like, let me, she's like, I can't figure out how to do this thing. She was doing like car mechanic simulator, so it's
oh
cool because I feel
dang,
like it's educational, and she's like learning
yeah.
how to like put cars together and stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, if you need help, let me help you out. So I put the VR on, and then like I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like I haven't, played around with the VR before. And I kept like trying to walk, like I needed to get a tool off of like the tool bench. And
Yeah.
so I walk over and I'm like walking to go, pick up this tool. And my daughter's like, stop, stop, stop. She's like, you're gonna run into the wall. And I'm like, well, like, how do I go get the tool though? I gotta go get the tool. And she's like, no, stop walking. And she's like, you gotta use the joypad. And I'm like, well, I was like, I don't know, like the tool's over there. I want to go walk and get it. So yeah, it's just crazy. Like the kid, like obviously we had that same thing with us, and like our parents, they didn't have the technology that we have, and it's gonna keep progressing. But it's just funny, like seeing that, and it just makes me think, like, wow, like what's gonna be available for like our kids. You know what I mean? Like, what's that technology gonna look like? Yeah.
Yeah, they already have was it? Pixar already has that floor mat that you could walk on, and it keeps you in the same spot, and it's
Yeah,
omnidirectional.
the Omni.
That
Yeah,
tripped me out. I was like, when I saw that clip on Instagram, I was like, I am gonna get one, and I'm gonna steal my daughter's VR set, and I'm probably never gonna give it back. Because that's like Ready Player One, like feature already
yeah.
happening.
You know, it's crazy. Like I always have friends. I always have like friends, family, or whatever that haven't seen that movie, and they're like huge gamers. I'm like, dude, how have you not watched that movie?
Really?
That's like one of my favorite movies. Yeah,
How do
I
you not watch
legitimately
that
like when I'm
movie?
not feeling good, I watch it.
Yeah, I've watched that movie so many times. Like, it's a good movie. Like, but I want that pad though. Like, I saw that pad and I was like, I need to break into Pixar. Like, dang, it's a big dog.
I know he's a lap dog. He thinks don't lick me. I don't like licky faces. Play.
Yeah, we bought my daughter a VR set for Christmas, and or Santa Claus did actually, but she yeah she loves that thing. She's like,
Yeah,
and she likes to do a lot of puzzle games with it though. That's what
that's
I've
cool.
noticed. She likes to do a lot of puzzle games.
We have to like keep an eye just because I don't trust people online and stuff. And so whenever she's playing
Yeah,
on the VR, I like to we have my wife has the app downloaded on the phone, so we could like watch what she's playing or what she's seeing, and like we can hear conversations going on and stuff. So we'll tap in, from time to time, or
yeah, I've had to
you
do that a couple of times
yeah. So I
with
think
the
it's
kids.
cool. I think it's a cool feature, especially because she's still younger, and I just don't. I know
Yeah,
as a gamer myself, I know how it
yeah.
goes.
And then being in middle school and cussing the way that these kids do, I'm like, if I really sounded like that, I sounded like a dumbass. Like,
Yeah.
I was not a very smart kid.
Well, I was talking to Brian earlier. I don't know if you remember Brian, but
Yeah,
he was yeah. So we were
can I
talking
forget
earlier
him?
about about that trip we took.
Yeah.
Good times, dude. I was like, wow. I was like, that was probably my favorite time, like driving in a car, because we were just driving around, having a good time, laughing. I laughed so hard, like I was crying.
Yeah, I still tell that story. I mean, that was a funny story, man. Like,
It was such a good time. Get down, Maximus, please. This dog, dude. Anyway,
that guy, he was
good
funny,
dog.
man.
Speaking of that, so um, how's it been with juggling the fatherhood with two kids?
Struggle.
Yeah,
It really is, man. Like, it really is pretty hard. I mean, like when I look at it, like this is kind of what I wanted when I decided to try and be remote, control my own time, and basically like be my own boss. That I did not want to be hold on anyone other's time. Like I didn't want to be just an employee where I couldn't control like what I did, what time I did it, and and where I have to be. Like I wanted to be flexible for my kids, but I also wanted to be there for my kids. And so I try to remember that every day. There's some days when I don't like it. There's things that I have to do, and it does stress me out because I have to watch my kids at the same time.
yeah,
But I try and remember that my kids were the reasons why I kind of went the direction that I did, and being my own boss, starting a business, and everything. And
yeah,
I need to be blissful because when my dad had his business, he was he was probably up. He would leave the house at like 6 in the morning. He probably wouldn't get back till like 9 at night, and so I wouldn't really see him. And and that's why I kind of like already had the expectations. I know what goes, or I know what it takes to own a business because because my dad was a business owner, and but I didn't want to. I didn't want to skip out on my kids' lives.
Yeah,
So it's a challenge, but I still haven't really found a balance for it. To be honest, like
it's hard,
I
man.
feel like it doesn't have a balance. You just kind of do what you can, and I've tried to I've read some like self help books and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
a lot of the people do say that it's not about how much time you spend at working at something; it's the quality of the time that you get. You could accomplish. There's some things that you could accomplish in an hour that you would think would take you 3 hours to do. Um, that's because in our head we kind of overcomplicate what the task is and how much goes
yeah,
into it. Um, and I'm trying to keep that in mind. Like it's literally about like right when my son takes a nap, like I have probably like a good hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours to get stuff done. And if I like really focus at it, I could get a lot done. Like more than I actually think that I could. But I mean, yeah, like I said, some days I'm human, it's like not perfect. Like I forget about that.
yeah. I think it's easy to do, and that's a good point because I think that people. It doesn't matter what task it is, right? I mean, it could be um, you could be doing dishes,
Hmm.
or putting laundry away or something, or sweeping and vacuuming. Like whenever I'm doing any type of chores, around the house or whatever, like I've noticed that I like it's hard for me to like set myself to the task because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna take up so many. It's gonna be like 14 hours.
Yeah.
I have so much stuff that like I want to get done today. It's gonna take up like 14 hours, and then like when you actually go and do it, it's like 30 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh
like
wow,
I've had that
should
happen to
have
me
done this
before.
earlier.
Like I know, like someone said, or I had a client and their website was down, and I was like, oh, crap. And then I had my kids at home, and I was stressing out because I was like, dude, their website's down. I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know how. Like I don't know what brought it down, or like I don't know what's going on. So I was kind of like stressed out, and then right when I was able to actually get to it, took me like 15 minutes, I think. It was just an update, and I was like, "That's it." I was stressing out for about 4 hours of not getting,
Yeah,
like, not knowing if I was gonna have the time to fix it. And then right when I did, I was able to pick it up in like 20 minutes and just like boom, that was it. All it was just an update, and everything's all fine. But I think it's just a human thing, dude. Like we overcomplicate everything. We even with the most
yeah.
simple things.
Well,
Like
it's funny that that dude I think it's Dan Martell. That book that I was showing you, "Take Back Your Time," I think it's called. Um, I was watching a an interview that he was doing with Cody Sanchez, and he was just talking about like how a lot of people try to approach him and they're like want to take some of his time to try to like pick his brain and get inside him and you know and he has like a very large a very I don't want to say large or long but kind of convoluted process of trying to like get in touch with him. It's super easy to get in touch with him, but he makes it like there's very specific things that you have to do. Like you have to like go on like a hike with him, like out in like the wilderness or something. Like I don't know, but
yeah.
the thing that there's one thing that he said that really it really stuck with me, and he was like, um, if I take time to do this thing like with you, that's time I'm taking away from my kids. You know, And so, and like that really stuck with me because it's true. It's with everything, dude. It doesn't matter if you're like in a 9 to 5 job, or you have your own business, or you're consulting, or it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like that's it's true. Like any parents know the deal with that, but it doesn't matter if it's like your kid, step kid.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you say yes to something else, you're saying no to your kids, and um, and that really like stuck with me too, because I love my kids obviously more than anything, and I want to make sure that that they have, when they look back at their lives, and they're not thinking like, oh man, my dad didn't spend time with me or anything. Like I don't want their childhood to be like, oh yeah, I played this game for like 20 years, never.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be like going back and like looking at memories, like, hey, like we just took you to Phoenix, like me and my wife and I took the kids to Phoenix, and um, this a few weeks ago, and they're obviously we're stressed all the whole time. As parents, you're always stressed during a trip, but the kids had such a great time, and that's the memories that I want them to look back at and see. And I think that when you look into doing all these other things, like taking on extra tasks or extra jobs and stuff like that, it's taking away from them. So it's important to have that balance and figure out your time and make sure that you're saying yes to the things that you need to support them, but then also say no to some of those other things, those other extracurricular things, so that way you
Hmm.
can say yes to your kids more. But I
Yeah.
don't know, that's just one thing that stuck with me. And um, when we talked about that the other day too, that brought it up to me too. That's why I recommended that book, because I think that guy really hit the nail on the head with that one. But
Yeah. You have to learn to say no.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's, I mean, honestly, any business owner, well, any business owner should know. I don't say that every business owner knows, but every business owner should know that that's the goal, is to try and you know separate yourself a little bit from that. So I mean, it's hard work, and you have to be attentive to your business, but I think the goal at the end of the day should be like, how do I get in, how do I establish something that's easily manageable, how do I
Hmm.
find the right people who can manage that business, and then how do I step back from that.
Hmm.
But for me, that's
Yeah.
that's what it is. but
Yeah.
but
You shouldn't.
I
You
mean, different
shouldn't.
people have different reasons, but
No. Yeah. No. I agree with you. I mean, like, it's important. When you start a business, it's important that you start a business to build a life and not, spend your whole life building it. It's
yeah,
you do have to learn to say no to certain things, um, as a business owner, and I think it's a very important lesson to learn. But it's like you said though, it's taking time. Like I don't like to be on my phone. I don't like to be on the computer when I'm with, like, when I have to spend time with my kids, or when we're doing, like, actually I think this is awesome about Hawaii, that I didn't really get good reception. I didn't
that's
really
good.
get like good
Yeah,
cell reception, and the Wi-Fi was shoddy. So it would work during the day, or sometime or during night, or sometimes not at all. So I couldn't like connect to Wi-Fi or anything. And I think that's what made a huge impact on me, was I was able to be in the moment and just be present, and
hmm
not have to worry about, like, about fires that I might have to put out. I
yeah,
mean, I had or like when I got back, I had a lot of things I needed to do, but the you know the world wasn't on fire. It was obviously just tasks that didn't, like, I would have normally, I would have felt like it was really important to take care of. Like, I needed to get it done this instant because I need to put this fire out.
yeah,
But being gone and not really having the service to or the Wi-Fi to attend to those problems, everything was still okay. Like even like some of the clients were just like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, yeah, whatever. Just let me know." And I was like, "That's awesome." Like,
Yeah, I think that's
all
cool when
right,
you do have clients that can understand and be cool with it too, though. I mean,
yeah.
and I think that's just humans in general, man. As long as you let them know what's going on, like it's fine, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it turns out that it wasn't as big of a fire as I thought it was gonna be. Like
you're
I thought it was gonna be
in
like
your
the
mind
fire
again.
in yeah, like I didn't think it was I thought it was gonna be like a fire like in Rio Doso. God bless that. Like I
Oh
really
yeah,
hope that takes care of. But it turns out it's like to my client it was just like a lighter. Like a
like
thing from a
45
lighter.
minute dishes.
Yeah. Like it was just that. And like and so I think we do take it hard on ourselves to like especially being a father and you know with fatherhood we do take it hard on ourselves to get things done or try to figure stuff out and figure problems out. But you know, sometimes it just turns out that it's just a candle. It's not as big as a fire as you thought it was gonna be. You know, you just enjoy being present, enjoy the moment, enjoy the minute that you have to spend with your kids, because that minute when it's gone, that's it. Like you can't get it back. I could buy time, you know, like I could buy other people's time to take care of the things that I don't want to do, but I can't buy the time of, you know, spending time with my kids.
Yeah,
Like it's
you can't
just
pay somebody to go do that, and if you,
yeah,
it would be kind of weird.
yeah, exactly.
But no, I like that idea. I like the concept of the 45-hour dishes or whatever that we were saying because um I think it puts things into perspective because I think that's another one of those things where we kind of get in our own mind and we're like, oh man, like I'm gonna have to do all these things when I get back and this and it doesn't let you like relax as much. But it's cool when you have those types of situations because I think that when you do get back, like you're more inclined to do that. If everything was on fire,
Hmm.
you kind of have that energy to get in there and fix things, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes you need to do you need to just unplug and like granted we're in a spot I think where technology is a huge godsend like we're we need to learn how to do something we look it up it's the
Hmm.
information's at our fingertips for anything and so there's positives there but I also think that you know like you said, I mean, it's nice to unplug, and I think that we kind of put ourselves into technology a little bit too much too. So it's nice to
Yeah.
kind of step back from it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Um, you know, like it really did feel good though to be present with my kids on a trip because that really ever happens. Because, like you said, you know, it's like if we go to Disneyland, it's stressful, you know, but I'm connected to the internet and I'm connected to the outside world of like what's going on. And when something pops up, you know, I get a notification right away. But the first thing in my head is like, shit, like I need to figure this out. Like, how am I going to figure
Yeah,
this out? And yet I'm like waiting in line to go on a ride with my daughter. But in my head, I'm like, how, like, I need to find time to do this.
yeah.
Like, how am I going to find time? And it sucks because I don't like feeling like that. And,
No, my
you know,
wife
when I
gets
was,
mad at me all the time, dude. She's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" All right,
yeah,
nothing. I just can't tell you what's going through my mind because it take like an hour to break everything down, and like thought process is like convoluted, and I can't tell you. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I
dude,
can't.
I
I
don't
can't
know if it's
articulate it.
just, yeah, I don't know if it's just like a guy thing that we do. And I genuinely
Probably.
probably think it is. Like, it's probably just like a man or a father issue, which I think like fathers have such a hard time with trying to empty out everything that we're trying to think of because it's hard to explain like how important it is to us. And yeah, it's like we don't know if it's like if the person's understandable and or they'll understand what it is that we're thinking or the severity of what we were trying to think of like I need more clients or I need to take care of these like keep these clients or like how am I going to grow the business or you know it's it's uh it sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I do think it's guy problems. What is it? Guy math. That's what it is. It's guy
Hmm.
math. We have to all these equations going through our head.
Yeah. And
No,
so
it's
I'm
funny because
definitely
I
trying.
always like have like this set mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there. We're not gonna talk about business at all. It's gonna be just me and Joe just talking, just shooting the shit, and then like sure enough, it always like it always goes to
Yeah.
business.
Well, I mean, yeah, it becomes part of your life. Like,
Yeah,
um, even I mean, yeah, I don't know why it always just comes up to business. And I think it's just
I
because.
think it. I don't know. I mean, I just it's like I went to my friend's house the other day, and like I have been like heavily into politics, and it's been a while since I've seen his parents, and because they lived in Florida and they came out for graduation time. Like my daughter just graduated and his
Mhm.
daughter just graduated, and so I was like, I went over there and I'm like, you know what, before I walk in, because I already know like I'm gonna start talking about politics. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything about politics. Like I was literally there like 2 minutes and it came up. So I mean, it's just those things. I guess like we're just like so like the things that you're involved with heavily, they come up. It doesn't matter what you do to try to avoid
Mhm.
it. Like I could go into a room and be like, I'm not going to talk about my kids and my wife at all. And then the first thing out was like, oh yeah, my wife, or like, ah, my
Yeah.
kids. So it's
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I don't know
it's not a bad
myself.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know myself. I'm like, someone says like, "What's your favorite color?" And I'm like, I don't know any color that can't get dirty because my kids will ruin it. Or like, what kind of car you can what or what's your favorite car? And I'm just like, whatever I could use to transport all my kids' stuff and all their shit and stuff like that. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
it just becomes like part of you.
thing
And
that fits my kids.
yeah, like
I just looked in the kitchen and my daughter's got a broom and a headband crown on her head and a and a surgical mask.
it becomes part of us, I guess. I mean, business, family, kids, I think that's what kind of makes us us. Like, I mean, I watch hockey for the most part. I didn't get to watch the Stanley Cups because I was in
I
Hawaii.
didn't watch the Stanley Cups because I was so upset. My wife was like, just watch, just watch. You're not a true hockey fan. I was like, I don't want to watch. I'm so mad.
Because of the Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing so good. I thought we were gonna go to the end, dude. I was like, oh, this is our year to get the cup. I was like, it's amazing, so great. And then my wife put a Rangers flag out front, and I was like, man, this is watch. We're gonna lose now. And then we lost every game after that. Oh my god.
Well, I knew my team wasn't gonna make it at all. Like when I saw them start like playing in the beginning of the season, I was like, these guys are gonna suck. So I think I'm just gonna have to go for a second favorite team. And then they didn't make it. I think they made it to the first round of the playoffs, which was crazy. But I was like, well, I guess I gotta find a third team. I'm like, all the teams I'm picking are dropping like flies now. I don't know. And I genuinely thought that who was it? Uh it was the Panthers and who was the team that they were going against? Uh,
Oh, I don't even know, dude, because I stopped watching. I was so mad.
yeah, like oh fuck, I can't think of them.
Panthers won though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I thought they were gonna lose because like they lost
Oh yeah. I heard that they
the
were
first
tied like
four
three
or
three.
three. Yeah, they lost the first three games like nothing. They were just getting like spanked on each game, and then all of a sudden they started doing good. And then when I got back from Hawaii, um, I saw a post that the Panthers won. I was like, what the hell? Like, did I just like come like
Which
did I
alternate
go to
universe did
Hawaii?
I come
Yeah.
back to?
Was there like a portal that just opened up and like I'm in an alternate universe right now? The Panthers are like one. What the hell? Like I wasn't expecting that, but
That was a good. I don't know. Oh man, I can't remember what the name of. I think it's called Manifest. Have you ever seen that?
yeah,
That was a good show. Um, I don't know if I watched it all because I think it ended right. Like they didn't do the
it
next season or
ended.
whatever.
Well, yeah, it was weird because it shut down because of COVID, and then they
Oh,
had this
okay.
huge time jump to where like when the kids on the show when they were kids, it started back up, and all of a sudden they're like teenagers, and it's like they had to try and explain the time jump of like how they
Oh, is
got
that
from
what
one
happened?
season. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, at least
they
that
got
makes more sense as to why they did that.
yeah, so they got
Oh,
renewed.
Julieta.
They got renewed for a season, and then COVID happened, and then they had to shut down, and they couldn't make any more episodes. And when they started back up, everyone was older. And it's like, oh yeah, this is what happened. There's a time jump or something like that,
In
or
case you
I don't
didn't
know.
know.
Yeah. And, it's like, and then the same thing happened with Resident Alien too, which I guess wasn't really too big of a deal, but it still was a little weird in the beginning because that show came on. The two seasons came on before COVID, and then after COVID, they did the third season, and the third season, like the kids were all like adults or like teenagers or teens, so it was weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah,
Totally different plot points.
COVID totally screwed everything
Yeah,
up.
I agree.
But
They're trying to screw me up too.
yeah, oh, I know how you doing with that.
I'm good. When I get sick, sometimes my lungs are a little jacked, but other than that, I'm good. And then I think after it's really weird, dude, because after I got the vaccine, my uh, my blood pressure went up, so I've been like dealing with that. Um,
Damn.
yeah, but it's weird because it's just like the bottom number, so like my heart's still like pumping um, fine for the most part. It gets a little bit higher, but like it's mostly like the bottom number that's high, so it's weird. But I've
Hmm.
been I decreased my sodium intake, I increased my potassium intake, and then I started taking a beet supplement, and like it jumped down a pretty good amount. It's still kind of high, but like I think it's in a more manageable place. And then working out and everything, trying to get back in shape. But other than that, though, it's been okay.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't help that I'm getting older. I'm getting gray
Yeah.
haired, so it's always fun.
uh,
But
Getting old.
I was gonna ask you because we only have like 5 minutes left. Do you have I don't know, did we do this one already? As far as like questions of the day. Let me see. Do you remember if we did that one already?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. But I already know what my answer would be.
All right. Let me hear it.
I would literally just drop everything and just spend time with my family.
That's a good one. I don't think I could beat that one, dude. That's really good.
Yeah, because I mean, the world's ending. It's like, fuck it. I'll just take all the money that I have, spend time with my family, and just have fun doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't yeah. I think that's probably what I would do too, honestly. I probably wouldn't even like I like there's a part of me that it feels like I would probably want to like try and like figure out some way to survive and like
Yeah.
repopulate the earth. But yeah, I think end of the day, I would be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like spend time with my family. I had this dream one time where I was like, it was weird because I was at my friend's house and it was in his basement, which he had like a movie theater in there, and like so it was like a cool like chill spot. But I had a dream that we were in there, and I was like there with my family and everything, and like I don't know what was going on outside. It was like asteroids coming down or something like
Yeah.
crazy, and it was just like bombarding us, and then like at the end of the dream, it just like went blank. So I was like, oh man, I hope this never ever happens ever. But
Yeah.
like the thing that I had like some solace from was like was with my family and everything. So
Yeah. Well, you never bet on the end. You never bet on the end of the world because in the end you still lose.
that's very accurate. That's a true story. I've never had to deal with that story, but
Yeah. Well, just something that I heard before. It was like I don't know where I heard it, but yeah, someone said that when don't bet on the end of the world because if you win, you're still losing. like,
yeah,
yeah, that's true. So I might as well just live every single day.
yeah. Although one last thing I'll say though is I was there's a MIT study. I don't know how long ago it came out, but I was seeing a video on it the other day. Somebody was testing it, but you can you like if you ever need to purify water, you can use tree branches to purify it.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's really cool. Like they explain the whole process, which I'm not even going to attempt because I'm gonna have it wrong. But basically, what happens is like you just get like a reservoir for the dirty water, and then you
Mhm.
attach it to like a tree branch, like cut the tree branch. The dude I was watching, like he did it like to where it was like going outward towards, or it was going like inward toward the tree. So like the part that you want to have cleaned, it goes like inward toward the tree, like to where it would be like sucking it toward the roots.
Mhm.
But you could just basically get a branch and then like shape it to fit into that reservoir, and you put like the dirty water on like the outside of the branch, and then like a clean water reservoir on the opposite side, and then it just like drains it through the branch. And it was really crazy because he sent it in for
Hmm.
testing, and like the water that he used was like this dirty, gross, like swamp water, and it
Yeah.
had like tested positive for E. coli for like different types of E. coli. And
Damn.
then when it came out on the opposite side, it was like clean, like purified water. So
That
it's
is
insane, dude. I was
crazy.
like, all right, yeah. But I thought it was really cool, and it was
I
like
know
an
you could
MIT
do it
study,
with
which I didn't
stones
know
and
was cool.
stuff.
But yeah, I mean, if I ever had to like build like some type of purification system, like everything, it would be literally everything. It would be the cleanest water you've ever seen.
I'm heading to your house then.
Yeah, we won't
Yeah.
have much. We'll have clean water and some books.
Awesome.
Actually.
Books are good.
Yeah.
Man.
But we got to wrap it up, though. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything else you wanted to say before we jump off?
No, it's just good to be back.
Yeah,
Gonna
dude.
stay tuned for
I'm glad
more
you're back.
episodes.
I'm glad we got a chance to do this because I haven't had the chance to get on here in a while. So
I know.
I appreciate you taking the time to do that because I always have good conversations with you. Obviously, and it's always fun.
I know.
So
Yeah, it's a very therapeutic session for me too.
yeah, it's nice, dude. It really, really is nice. And even though like there's all the chaos and craziness and the kids in the background and everything, it's still you know it's nice to touch base.
Yeah, yeah, it is, man. It is. We got our third bedroom, thank God, because of my mother-in-law. I don't know how she like organizes and cleans stuff. Me and my wife do not have that skill at all. Like when it comes to organizing and cleaning, like I could clean, but like I can't organize. I can't do anything. Like I feel like I'm good, but I'm not. But she just like came in one day and then like everything was all fixed. I was like,
She like built on like an addition to your house, and she
no, that's my father-in-law.
okay, that's cool.
But no, just good to be back, man.
That's good. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna get these kids to bed and get the dog in the kennel so he doesn't freak out with the fireworks.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah,
right, man.
he's a big dog, but he's such a little cool. But yeah, dude, it was
Awesome.
good talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take care, man.
Take care.
All right, later, bro.
Later.